Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Faith with Witchcraft and Reveries. Today I am going to be doing a little deck review slash glamour magic, glamour witch discussion. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about is what is self-care? That can look like a lot of things to a lot of different people. But for me personally, self-care looks like grounding, tapping into my energy for the day, and acting accordingly. So that means honoring my boundaries. It means honoring my body's needs, my energy's needs, my mind's needs, and also being basically the caretaker of my life in a way that feels sacred and also just right for me. So a lot of the time, for me, that looks like if I wake up and, maybe I feel a little bit emotional that day. What I'll do is I will go outside, put my feet on the earth, and meditate for about 5 or so minutes and just allow my energy to ground a little bit. That's self-care, right? Say I wanted to boost my energy a little bit. I will often go to my altar and pull some cards. That is where oracle decks come in. So this is called the Sacred Self-Care Oracle by Jill Pyle. And I love this. This is a wonderful tool, not only for tapping into your energy on a more divinatory perspective, but also just for practical things that you can do every day to take care of yourself. If I'm feeling really discombobulated, if I'm feeling like my energy's all over the place, a lot of the times I will go to this oracle and say, hey, what is one thing that I can do to take care of myself today? We can't always go outside, meditate, put our feet on the earth and get the answers to what we need, right? Sometimes we need a little bit of guidance, and that external validation, that external from source, from something other than ourselves, affirmation that yes, we can do that thing to caretake our body today is really helpful. Self-care is all about tapping in and acknowledging your needs and acting accordingly. It is also about creating space for you to have the experience that you need to have, whatever it looks like. If you're angry, it means maybe getting a pillow and punching it, but having a safe space to do that, right? Like creating that for yourself so that you're not taking that energy out there and taking it out on your family or your partner, etc. Or if you're really sad, self-care can look like putting on your favorite music and cuddling up in your favorite robe and making yourself a cup of tea and just holding yourself a little bit, giving yourself a little bit of love, being gentle. If you're really stressed, it could mean kind of a similar thing where you intentionally slow down, where you give notice and you don't try to fix the anxiety, but you hear it and you acknowledge it, and therefore in doing that, it dissipates at least slightly. So I would like to get into the oracle itself. I am just going to show you. Box is nice and lovely, purple, so cute. This is what the backs look like. And the back says, treat yourself like a goddess, connect with your intuition, and deepen your self-care practice with the Sacred Self-Care Oracle. This whimsically illustrated deck will help you create rituals to nourish you on the deepest levels your soul is calling for, inviting you to ask, what do I need to feel centered and balanced today? How can I connect with my body's intuition? If I only have a short amount of time for me this week, how should I spend it? Again, that kind of just reiterates what I was saying about what I perceive to be self-care. I don't think that self-care is going out and buying yourself whatever you want. I don't think that it's like essentially enabling yourself to have maladaptive behaviors so that you can feel better about a situation. Like, let's be real. We're in the process of being honest with ourselves and being real and like walking a line of integrity and respect for our values. And I think that really easily in the treat yourself culture, it can kind of go both ways. So this oracle, I'm just going to show you some cards. We have movement, connect with the earth, build strength. I mean, like, this is just excellent imagery. It's excellent abundance planning. It gives you really concrete jumping off points to take action in your self-care journey. And even if you're not really drawn to the artwork, I mean, I wouldn't say this is my favorite artwork ever. I mean, it's cute. It's got nice colors, but I wouldn't say that I go to this deck for the artwork. By all means, if you're drawn to it, then that can be another element for you. The sweetness of reflecting on the imagery, should you decide to pull a card. Read, it can also be a really great tool for crafting self-care rituals where you maybe pull multiple cards, like for example, soak in a bath, aromatherapy, and positive affirmations. Those three would go amazingly together in a self-care ritual that you put together and you craft for yourself. So, like I said, it's just a really wonderful tool that if you are kind of struggling to frame in your mind what a practical self-care routine can look like. I love this one, spend times with friends. Look, you can actually see it's the deck that they're playing with. So cute. Yeah, and it's a good way to feel very held and acknowledged by the guides that you work with, the energies that you regularly tap into, your higher self. And the guidebook is great too because it gives you little journal prompts with each one, along with a message of self-love and self-care. I really only exclusively use this deck by itself. I mean, I haven't ever tried to use it with tarot or anything like that because it's so clear and it's so niche, like it's very specific. But I think that from that perspective, it's a wonderful way to really tap in to these practical ways of caring for yourself. I'm really curious to know what some of your self-care practices are. What does that look like for you? For me specifically, I love rest. I love to curl up with a good book. I love to visit my altar and lay everything out that I'm worried about to my guides and have conversations with them and myself about what's going on. I love to create lists and action plans for me to achieve the things that I need to do should they become overwhelming. Writing is a huge form of self-care for me, for sure. You know, maybe it's watching my favorite show, a comfort show that I've already seen, or cooking my favorite meal, or dancing, for example. Music. So that's the deck. It's beautiful. I highly recommend it. If you haven't given it a try, if you feel like me that it could be a really practical tool for you to tap into self-care, then I highly, highly recommend it. But I wanted to do a group pull, a collective pull for everybody, and just kind of tap into the energy of those that are watching the video at any point in time. You can take what resonates and leave what doesn't, but if you're watching this video, I'm sure there is an aspect in your life that might need a little bit of attending to. I mean, we're human. We all experience that, right? So just grounding, connecting. What is the energy that the collective needs to know today? Pleasure. If you are feeling burnt out, if you're feeling overwhelmed in certain areas of your life, this card is encouraging us to tap into what really makes us feel good, what brings you pleasure. Think about your senses. Sight, what is beautiful to you? Sound, what kind of music do you love? What brings you pleasure? Taste, what kind of food do you love? What food makes your body feel amazing? Touch, is there a way that you can touch, hug, embrace in a way that feels good? Maybe you need a hug. Maybe you need to go to somebody you trust and be like, can I have a hug, please? It can also mean other things. But yeah, so sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Maybe you could light a candle that smells amazing to you, or spritz your favorite perfume that smells incredible to you. Just really tap into the concept of pleasure and what it looks like to really feel that in your body. That is the collective pull. I'm gonna move on to speaking about self-care and glamour magic from a perspective of self-love and nurturing that. I wanted to share a little spell that I have been working for the past week or so to charge my jewelry. The jewelry that I'm currently wearing is a really key part of this spell that I'm working on. So just one second. This is the vessel of this spell that I'm currently working to charge my jewelry. I've done different ways. There's different ways to do this, but specifically this is how I've chosen to do it this time. So I have this lovely little cauldron silver bowl here. You can see I have these petals. These are rose petals, and now rose is associated with love and abundance, prosperity, beauty, romance, right? So I think that taking that symbolism into account was an important part of why I chose them. And I also charged these petals previously on a Sabbath specifically associated with abundance and creativity and beauty. And I chose to use those in this future working that I'm doing around abundance and beauty and glamour magic. So what I did was I took these petals, I placed them inside the bowl along with a tea light candle in the center, and then I laid all of my jewelry out inside it. And then I took an anointing oil. This is called Freya's Shield, a protective and supportive botanical blend of yarrow and rose by Norn Botanicals. I will link their website where you can purchase down below. Really lovely, great energy. A friend of mine actually created this, and I'm just really happy to be able to support her work and just give you a little shout out too. So, and then I also have this perfume that I've been working with. This is by Ffern. So we have all of the things. We have touch, taste, smell, symbolism, maybe not so much taste, but like we're really working with the senses here. After I have put all of that in there, I spritz it with the perfume. I keep my perfume on my altar also as another element of like charging and invoking the goddess and the energy that I want to bring in. And then I also anointed the rose petals with this anointing oil to imbue that protective and loving energy of yarrow and rose. So this is the way that I like to do my spell work, is to layer meanings and intentions on top of each other. And I think that that really elevates and pulls in energy the way that I want it to. And I found it to be really successful. I always am a huge proponent for people to experiment and see what works best for them. I think if you're doing everything with the intention of, obviously you need respect, that's like one of the key parts, but also intention as well is the most important part of witchcraft. And I think most practitioners would agree with that. So after putting all that in here, I light the candle, place it on my altar, and said a little prayer to my guides and asked that they invoke and imbue the energy into the jewelry, into the rose petals, allowing the flame to pull that in. And I let the candle burn until it went out. After that, my jewelry was charged with that intention. And so when I adorn myself with the jewelry that I'm currently wearing, it is a form of glamour magic. It is a form of putting that energy on me that I created and pulled in, and then allowing it to reflect back out with the intention that I want. And then at the end of every day, I usually take off my rings and everything because I don't like to sleep in my jewelry, and I place it back in this vessel, which is now empty, but we have the energy of the roses here along with it sitting on my desk and the charged intention with our oil and our perfume. And I place my jewelry back in there with the intention of it recharging and cleansing itself from the energy of the day that I picked up. So that is a spell that I have been kind of working and experimenting with, and it feels really good to me. I think that I want to continue this. If you feel inclined to create this for yourself, like, do it and leave a comment down below and see. Let me know how it works for you, or if you made any adjustments or changes yourself. I love creating conversations around these. And I think that this conversation about self-care and the importance of it, and creating the sacred kind of holy act of ritual and just bringing that into our daily life can really, really help a lot of us feel like, you know, we're doing the thing. So I love chatting about these things, and thank you so much for being here today. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave them down below. Yeah, I am just wishing you guys the best, all the best and all the love and all the pleasure today. Make sure you take care of yourself, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.